Can you guys hear me? Oh, there it is. We got to turn off the volume. So if you ever simulcast, oh, I'll stop talking. If you simulcast on the desktop, make sure that you have the volume off on any other windows you have open. Which I Can you guys hear me now? Trying to figure out why I have an echo still. All right, welcome guys. I'm John Springer Collectibles. We're doing a quick giveaway while I fix all the stuff. Arena Springer Echo Sound. Yeah, it's not bad. I would. I want to do the Lou Gehrig thing because I feel like that's kind of in the wrong. So is there another thing where we do echo like in Goonies? Echo, echo, junk. All right. You're gonna live with me now. Maybe we'll leave it on. We're not leaving it on. All right, guys. The reason I'm in this area, is I'm gonna ship. This is exactly what not to do, by the way, and I'm doing it. So sorry, guys. And everyone's leaving. Retro. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I like how you're turning it into something good. Hold on. Let's get ready to rumble. I can't believe this is still happening. Hold on. I got so many windows open. Anyone else have like too many tabs open like me? Here, I'm just gonna turn this off. Duh. Okay. You guys hear me now? I just wanted to fix it. Yeah, what not to do is definitely some videos that I'm gonna be doing soon. Can you hear me okay? Retro. Microphone check. Look, I'm trying this thing, so I'll make sure if it works. What not to do and what not. I actually thought about doing that, but okay, good. Thank you guys. We got a giveaway going. 2 minutes left. I figured one cool thing would be. Wait, I got a package here. Oh, we should do an unboxing too. I don't know what that is. I'm a little scared. I think we're gonna do some shipping today. I feel like that's a good thing. We can talk about some other things. I was gonna mess with the co-host feature. We always talk about doing co-host feature. We talk about doing raids. So do me a favor. If you look at the notes, you can see. I think there's a YouTube link to my YouTube, and you can see the past shows. So definitely make sure you bookmark those or subscribe. That way you can see all the other shows we've done here on Whatnot. I do save all my past streams, but also I'd love for you to support the the YouTube channel also. So check that out. And again, if you start hearing like noises, like Dork thinks he's gonna drown kind of noises, my life preserver, let me know because I usually don't use a lavalier mic, but I figured since I'm gonna be doing like stuff moving all around, I thought it makes sense to do the lavalier today. One of the things that I ship the most of, over probably, I don't know, 15,000 GI Joes I've sold on the app, something like that. GI Joe was my first thing that I ever did. What's up, GI Joe on the brain? I was the first GI Joe seller on the app, so I had to learn to ship action figures well, and hopefully you see that within the reviews that have a good track record with those. Now, I did learn a lot from the collectors who told me their guidelines for shipping, what their expectations are, I should say, for shipping action figures. Now, if you just sell a little bit of everything and maybe you're a reseller, you may not know, these types of things, that it's really important to collectors. So let's say you did a good job, you sold the item and it was a vintage GI Joe, and maybe you sold it for 25 bucks and the collector is really excited about it, and then you send this to them, but you send it in a bubble envelope, or you sent it in something that wasn't protected very well. Now it might arrive there safely, but I promise you that collector is going to be really upset. Any collectors in here that can verify that that's the truth? That they're very particular. So we need to know this. Same thing with sports cards. I mean, cards. People are buying cards because they're going to get them graded. They have to. Yeah, GI Joe in the brain. If I send this and in like a regular mailing envelope or even a bubble envelope, not okay, not kosher. So I started to use like boxes like this, these kind of boxes, and some smaller ones too. Let me grab them. Maybe for one figure. I was trying to find the perfect formula for doing so, but I ended up, one figure. It's kind of, you don't always want to ship in a big box like this, and you don't want to pay for all these boxes at the same time. But it's important because the longevity of like your reputation with those customers, they know that you're going to take care of the item you're shipping. You're going to ship it the way that they would ship it to other collectors. Is the that's the goal. You want to make sure that you're getting it there safely and that it looks good. So I'll explain that in a second. We have 1 second for the giveaway. And again, hopefully the volume is good on this, guys. If you need to go louder, let me know. And Squirrely Picker. Congratulations, Squirrely Picker. Let me pull up the screen here. Hold on. Squirrely Picker, I do like little collector goodie bags. What do you collect? What's up, Big House? And I have your GPK stuff for you. I'm trying to get, I need 2 screens up at the same time. Hold on, open stream. Squirrely Picker, what do you collect? Pizza. My pleasure. Congratulations. Squirrely Picker, let's see if you have a profile. My name is Marcel. I absolutely love meeting new people and sourcing items to pass along to all you at a good deal. Looking forward to, I guess you're going to be a seller, it sounds like. Okay, men's, women's clothing. Oh, your second show. Okay. If you have any shows coming up, let everybody know. This is what this is for new sellers also. I choose. Okay. Give me like an area of, oh, not yet. Okay. Like, do you like Pokemon, sports cards, action figures, or what era did you grow up? Are you like an 80s kid, a 90s kid? That could help. I want to get you something you want, not something that's going in the garbage, right? Or that you're like, that's a disappointment. So I love to give you a surprise that's not a surprise. All right, so back to 90s. Okay, Squirrely Picker, I'll get you some kind of 90s toy or cards or something like that. Thank you so much, Squirrely, and thanks for joining. So back to the figures. So we're talking about packing these guys, right? So maybe if you guys have ordered, hold on, how about a loose figure in a small box, then bubble mailer? I mean, yeah, well, I'd love to hear the collectors think. I think that's a great idea. I mean, that works. I've tried wrapping them in cardboard before. It's almost like a presentation thing, Zen, where it's a psychological thing. I think that sounds good to me, but maybe you don't even, how small of a box are we talking about too? Now you could, haha, actually is a great collector to talk about this. Haha, can you hang out a second? We're talking about shipping action figures and the expectations of collectors when they receive it. 2-track, welcome. What's going on, guys? So I was talking about how to pack these. Now, if you have something like this and you put that in a bubble mailer, I think that's more than acceptable. What do you guys think? I think we're talking about like packing things safely. Now, first from the collector's standpoint, like what a collector expects, first of all. Then we can talk about just regular shipping stuff, just regular anything to get it there safely. It could be, something like this. I mean, this also is in that same realm for collectors, but how to ship something like this, like what you should do, what I would do, what I would recommend that you do when you're shipping something like that to prevent damage, also to to make a good impression on your buyers. I'd say presentation secondary to receiving it safely. I agree, GI Joe, the brain. The thing is, I have experienced the opposite way, unfortunately, where I got something there totally safe, and the feedback was, you sent it in an envelope still, but I was like, but it got there safely. So you don't argue about that. But I agree, GI Joe. Collector expects it to be absolutely flawless. Exactly. I like them in a small box. There you go. See. So the small box here. Now this box here requires no tape. These are pretty cheap. I mean, I try to save money on shipping. If you can use your own boxes, obviously, by all means, that's what you should do. If you can get as many free boxes as you can, because there's no reason to cut into any of your profits or anything like that, or your earnings, your hard work and time, and having to spend money on corrugate. So get this stuff as cheap as you can. Reuse boxes. Compare prices out there. Go local if you have to avoid shipping fees too, because that's a big thing when you're ordering boxes. You definitely want to order you want to stay away from those high shipping fees. So like a company like Uline, I love their company, but there's the Uline box right there. They have good deals, but when it comes to shipping, you could really get dinged if you don't know what you're doing, and you could spend too much money on shipping, in my opinion. You hate bubble mailers. There you go. So bag accessories separate for the cards. Use a cardboard. Exactly. Priority. So something like this, I think, is good for one figure. I personally would not ship anything in a Ziploc bag. Now, if you have to do that, then you have to do that. It's fine. Why does the video look so much different on here? Like it's zoomed on here. It's not. Anyway, so you can use a baggie like this. These baggies are definitely versatile. You can use these for small items, accessories, like somebody was saying. But the figure in a bag like this versus in a Ziploc bag is definitely the way to go. I just think it's a better presentation. I personally like these clear bags right here. Hold on. You can find these on Amazon, I'm sure. Just compare prices, get the cheapest ones possible. The only problem with these is you have these little, these little guys here that you rip off, so it's an extra step. One thing you want to do when you're shipping is you need to cut down on your time and your movement and your steps. Like if you've ever heard of like lean manufacturing, look that up if you don't know about lean manufacturing, and you can just learn it from like a real basic standpoint when you're shipping. If you just take some of the things they teach in lean manufacturing and apply it to what you're doing, you can save a lot of time. It's about less movement, it's about no errors, things like that, and this does look more professional. Yeah, you got it. Thank you. So when I say like no movement, here's an underrated example. Let's say that you are packing, and every time I throw, I get like the back of a label, I have to throw it in the garbage. Instead of having my garbage like way over there, my garbage is right below the table right here, right? So I can just slide it right into the table. I mean, every little step adds up throughout the day, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, or you're working on your own. You got to save steps as much as you can. So you have to put everything in its place that you need, and don't have things out that you don't need. So like I always joke that I'm gonna make like a fanny pack of like a streaming fanny pack, so I have all my stuff. Like I'm sure there's stuff out there like that, like a Batman belt with the Sharpie, with tape, with baggies, all that stuff. So anything that you can do to save yourself time is huge, guys, because shipping is a loss for you. It's spending or you're paying a shipper. Whatever you do, just save time doing it. Don't include the garbage in your package. I hate that. Who includes garbage? The garbage? People do that? Finding. Okay, so let's just pack this. So you could use this box here, I was saying. Now here's the controversial thing that I'll bring up that I find not controversial, but other people might. Actually, I almost take this off to show you the label backing. Yeah, things shouldn't rattle in boxes. Great, exactly. That we'll do the test too. You do the shake test. You have to have no void. Fill all the voids. So I'm a big fan of paper. Using like this newspaper stuff. I don't know if you can see. I don't want to take this off too much, but here, whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Hold on. Now, bubble is expensive. Bubble takes up a lot of space. If you have, but this is just a little paper roll from the Uline. This lasts forever, and it fills the void. It looks good, and you can crumble it up and just make it fit. Now, let's do that real quick to show you what I mean. Hold on. Like how, I'm not saying anything that's so out of the ordinary. It's like paper. I like paper a lot. Yeah, like paper versus like Amazon used to just strictly use paper, and then they moved to using, I think, more like this stuff. I mean, if you can do this kind of stuff, great. But anyway, paper. So you can get a lot of paper for free or really cheap. So let's take this one figure, right? Here's another thing I like to do. I'll take someone else's work order, right? I like to wrap the figure in the work order sometimes, like that. I like to make it this. Anything I can do to protect it where it doesn't cost me anything. And also, I want them to be able to see the packing list. Like having a packing list, I think, is important. Why? I don't understand when sellers sell me or send me an item with no packing list, because a lot of buyers, they get so much stuff. I think it's good for them to have the packing list of the receipt. So why not throw it in there if whatnot gives it to you? Here's the little paper I've talked about in other Q&As where I definitely think this could be more professional and you could spend money on something like this. But all I do is print these out. It's a little message telling them thank you for your purchase. And also, more importantly, don't ding me. Like, if you're unhappy, contact me first before sending me a review. Sometimes I'll write my name on there. I'll sign it usually. Make it a little more personalized, humanize it. Hopefully that'll make their keyboard muscles, go down a bit before they get all pissed off. If something goes wrong, it's not even in your control. I don't send the packing list to save on labels. That is actually a great point, Azer. I thought about that too. I really think that's a good idea. It does. I wish there was a way to make the font smaller or something like that, so you didn't have to waste labels. I think that's something I wanted to bring up to Whatnot. I think it's still important to have the information on there, but there's no reason to spend money on these thermal. They are expensive. You're right. The thermal labels can add up. I agree, Azer. All right, so here's the paper part. So take some of the paper. I don't even look at packing labels. That's a good point. Ask my questions of John. He misses. Yes, please. Hal, let's mod you, because I'm trying to keep the questions on here on the computer. Use the app. Okay, hold on. Let me mod up Hallowed, because I'm gonna forget everything or miss everything especially when I'm doing this and I'm not looking at the camera all the time. All right, so simple as that. Here's my box or the little one. Put it in there, and then a little extra paper, and then you have the test, and then I have my tape gun. You need a tape gun. You gotta get a tape gun. Make sure the tape is good. It's a good investment to have a tape gun. And then there it is. Make sure it's sealed up, obviously, and then we label it. Simple as that. And here's the shake test. There's nothing's happening here. Another thing is, if you are buying boxes, I don't think there's any reason to overpay for boxes as far as the quality. Like, these are ECT boxes. That's Edge Crush Test, I believe. Edge Crush Test. I don't know if that's backwards or not. Edge Crush Test is going to be like more of an economy box, but it passes the shake test. It's not going to get crushed. Hold on, let's see. What did it say? I bought posters and one got crushed. Customer service hasn't been. Oh, that's not good. Posters are tough. You got to have good, like, what's it called for those? Like the poster, the tubes. I feel like you have to use tubes for those. But that's as simple as it is for an action figure. I don't think you need to overdo it. Of course, if it's a higher end action figure, I would put it in here. If you have these, and you make sure he's not moving around also. But why don't we pack like a mock? I think this is going to be important. I want to pack like something that's really standard. I'm going to show you here's a good one to use as an example. Hold on, where'd it go? Of course, now I don't have it. 1 second. There it is. This is a great example here. Let me catch up on your questions real quick though, because this one I've seen packed wrong all the time, and it can damage the item really easily if you do this wrong. You can't just throw this in a box and just forget about it. You got to protect the cellophane. Also, more importantly, to me, this has been sitting on the collector's wall for like 20 years. Look at that dust buildup. I am not sending that to you guys. I don't want you opening it up and getting dust on your fingers. I think that's that's just a terrible presentation. So I had this ready already. Need to learn. So I'll just gently wipe off 20 years of dirty dust. It takes me 2 seconds to avoid, a bad review because I sent them something dirty. I don't know if you can see that. Now, I guess I could have done this before, but this has been sitting around, and I have a lot of inventory. So sometimes stuff will just come in and it'll have dust on it. The whole point here, the takeaway here, is that make sure you don't send smelly, gross stuff. I don't dust your purchase. Oh, I do. Most of them. Now, I don't do all the shipping anymore either. I have someone that works part-time. That's amazing. So, but I definitely had like guidelines and standards that I wanted to. Cigarette smells the worst. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Awful. I can dust your house too. Sure. Can I come over and what is the Hurley he boy? Hold on. What's it say? If I missed questions, let me know. I'm gonna go to the question option here on the. I love how they added the question option into the desktop version. Or it's all the versions, so I can look at it. Hold on. As long as there's no echo. Nah, it's not working. All right, let's get back to the chat then. So, thank you. Let's see. Can you dust my house? I'm just catching up with the chats. Getting dusty items, low class, good call. Exactly. Let's see. I'm sure I've already missed some stuff. Some people in here need to learn. Yeah, for a fun thing here, like cigarette smell. What are some nightmare stories that you've gotten? How do you get boxes for larger items easily? How do you get them? I mean, you either have to be resourceful and save all the stuff that your spouse buys on Amazon, save all those boxes, or at work, or you can, maybe, just get boxes if you don't do this full time. You have to buy boxes if you do it. Yeah. Or USPS free priority mail supplies for sure. Just make sure that you're using the right ones, depending on what the shipping is. But you're right. Yeah. Go to your local USPS and get free boxes. The toy man's 100% right. That dissuades me from selling. I mean, I hear that. I think that you could definitely be creative and get big boxes. Grocery stores will get you boxes for free. I've heard Dollar Tree, Dollar General. I mean, also look in your local area. Maybe there's some corrugate vendors that sell or produce boxes in your area. Maybe you can get like ones that had errors, but they still work for you because maybe they printed them wrong or something like that, or they're an inch off or something. But for you, it's fine. You can get free ones from a lot of things. Steal people's trash. I mean, if they're all clean, I don't know. That's probably the last one I recommend, but I got you. Whatever you can do to be resourceful, use those boxes. I think there are GI Joes in this lot. We might have to do a GI Joe pop up after that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. It doesn't matter. You guys know where I live. But let's see. Also, having like cut cardboard is really important, especially if you're doing cards and things like that. Uline has lots of distribution centers, so you don't have to pay shipping. Hello, that's interesting. That's a good one. I didn't know that. That's a really good. I didn't know you could do pickup. So check to see if there's a distribution area in your city. eBay for small boxes, USPS for priority size. I love it. You guys are the best at helping this stuff. People give away boxes after moving. Yes, fodder. Totally. That's one of the best advice ever right there. What Fodder Basher said. By the way, we're doing like a fodder. We're doing like a GI Joe custom show soon, like with contests. Me and Mexican Griswolds and anyone else that wants to get in. S Falcon, I'm sure the Toy Man. We're finally gonna do it. Facebook Marketplace, if you want to get mugged, sign up for US. Yes, and if you're a USPS or a UPS customer, also you can get free boxes. So maybe, or maybe you know someone that works in that industry, you could probably get them. Just be very creative in how you get those boxes. Home Depot, Lowe's, yeah, you get some big boxes from there. They're not too expensive. Save the stuff you get. You can make boxes. I don't really want to go there, but you can definitely do that. Let's take a look at the Viceroy though, and how I ship something like this. Now, I already know the measurements of these for the most part. I usually, like, if I know that I sell a lot of these kind of figures, I'm going to buy a lot of this size box. I think it's like a 13 by 10 by 4, right? So if I have these and I get like another order for maybe the Black Series, I can use the same box, but I just have to stuff it a little bit more. You want to make sure that you fill it up. So here's my little ruler. Yeah, there you go. It's about 12 right there. So we want a little extra room on the 13. And then the depth or the height, what is that? Yeah, it's about almost not even 3. So I think I have 12.9.3 boxes that I use, and they're good for comics too. 12.9.3 and 13.10.4, I think, are two of the ones I use a lot. Let's take a look. Here is a 13.10.4, and I think that's good for it. Exact ruler. Having the right size box for your comic sold items is a time saver. The Toy Man, you're totally right. Again, it's about lean manufacturing. You don't want to have to use too many supplies. Look up lean manufacturing. This guy Paul Akers on YouTube, you'll be blown away. I wish I used more of the technique, but it's about having everything in the right place to save time. Incremental, like tiny little things that can save you time. Having the paper right here, having all my supplies right in front of me. Having a little packing table. I kind of like made a packing table out of stuff that we got for free, like these displays. It's like a cell phone store was going out of business, where they moved, and we got all these like free plastic things in the backer. Let's see. Did I break into Staples? When shipping comics magazines, make sure you have bags and boards. That's great advice, Hala. That's great advice. I need more bags and boards, actually. Hold on. All right. So, and guys, please keep providing advice with each other. That's what this is about too. It's about us as a community helping one another, because you may not know why you got dinged. You may not know why somebody was unhappy with their order, just because maybe the presentation was awful. Maybe it got damaged because you didn't pack it the right way. Maybe my tripod is leaning over and about to fall. Okay, not my tripod. So here's this box I was talking about. Now I like to wrap it in paper. I don't want it to move around and get scratched up. And this one's not an expensive one, but at least just wrap it in paper and maybe have like cardboard pieces like that to like give it a little extra protection if you have some scraps. I like to do that as well. But the whole goal is to make sure that the item is not moving around. So I'll wrap it in paper. And if you have bubble, great. But I don't like to waste money on bubble. Wrap it, drop it in there, and then now I have void, right? There is void in there. It's moving around. So the goal is I'm going to stuff paper in all the voided areas or bubble so it doesn't move at all. And I like to put it in the middle so it can't. So if it does get crushed, it's not going to hit the product, right? So let's do that. It's kind of liberal about how I rip the paper, not. And that little part where the hang tab is, I want to make sure maybe I stuff something up in there so it doesn't get damaged right in there. And then of course I would have my packing slip and all this stuff in there. You want your packing slip in there, and of course you want your note to the customer thanking them for the order. Put that in there as well. And if you can, why not just throw a piece of cardboard on top to be safe, right? So then you're protecting it again. It just looks good. And as long as we are not floating around too much here, like I might put a little more paper, but it's not moving, so we're good. There's no shake at all, right? I don't want them receiving it and there's shake all over the place. Like I just received an order from, I think, eBay. Listen to this. This is not how it ships something. Ready? That does not sound like someone did a good job for me. That sounds really bad, actually. Why don't we open it up and see what not to do? I just got this from another person. And then, of course, you want to tape it up and make sure, use your tape gun. If you need a tape gun, you get these. I got these on Amazon, the rolls. I've tried so much different tape, and I've had pretty bad experiences with different tape. This Amazon tape seems all right. Amazon Basics does the job. We're not moving. These aren't moving boxes, right? We just need to get it there and get it there safely. I'm going to open this up. And let's see how bad this was packaged. I think this is not planned. I just got this today. I'm a little scared. Oh God, GI Joe collectors are gonna hate this. Ready? This is definitely never do this if you sell on whatnot. Holy cow. Now I'm not mad. I'm not gonna go blasting this person like something. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for those kind of reviews. But that's a no-no. Now the irony is that I've received some really good stuff like this because the person who sold it has no idea what they're doing in terms of selling these. To them, it's just a bunch of little plastic guys that, but they think, oh, I got it there safely. But no, this would make any serious GI Joe collector or any serious action figure collector like go ape shit on social media right now. Am I right about that? They would be very, very upset, understandably so. So some of the best deals. I know it's weird, right? The toy man, how that works. Tip your waiter. I mean, packaging person. Tape it up and send it your way. I'll flip it. But look, this is a little teaser. He's perfectly safe though. No crotch damage. That's one of the big ones. And I have his weapon too. Yeah, but again, I don't have time for that. Now, if it was broken, if I received it, and I've received a lot of packages like this, and it looks fine. If they're broken, I'll video it first. If it looks bad, I'll video and take pictures just in case to cover, my butt, so they know I'm telling the truth. But, as soon as I shook that, I knew something was not good. But there's good stuff in here though. So finally, I'll be doing a GI Joe show again soon, guys. How much of the whole box? I was just gonna do a show. Look at that. I don't know. I gotta check. I gotta Wiz. You do. That's right. You do GI Joes. How about I'm gonna do a GI Joe show later today, or I have one planned. I have some big ones planned. But look at that. See, it's amazing. They got so lucky. You know how like you could ship something perfectly, and it's just like Murphy's Law, and like no matter what you do, you ship it, and it breaks or it gets lost. This guy just threw this in the most delicate, most fragile dog, and it made it. It's just, who knows? Thank you, Wiz. I'll do a show, but I got to finish this. We got to stay on point. I always lose focus. I rewatch some of my other shows, and I'm like, oh my God, the amount of like topic switching that I do is pretty crazy. Like, and how fast when I read the chats. Squirrel, exactly. So I want to try to stay on top. Look at this. That's never there. That little piece. So any questions about the shipping? I mean, I did 2 common boxes so far, 2 common orders. Hashtag stay on topic. I did 2 common orders so far. Oh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Oh, look at that guy. Speaking of alligators now. Yeah, actually it would be a fun game though, Hallowed. If like I just grab something and then we change topic and see how what up, Gift? Gift, I'm going to that warehouse today. See if I'm doing it again. And I'm gonna fix your order with what happened with the Disney thing. See, actually, I talked to the packer too. We made a mistake. Out of the 20-some thousand items we've shipped, or 25,000 orders we've shipped, that's the first one I've ever had that was broken. I shipped like a statue, and my packer thought we don't usually do those. No excuse. She thought, oh, I thought I'd packed it well enough, and I was like, nah, you definitely didn't, and we'll do it right next time. So, Gift, I'll be at that warehouse today, and I'll see about more Disney pins. This is good stuff in here, guys. Oh yeah. Oh, you know where I get this shirt from? And thank you. One of the earliest sellers on the app. Hold on, let's see if we can at them. Hold on. It should be. Wait, I think it says their name on here. Unless it's a different one. Maybe this isn't it. I thought it was from Retro something. Maybe not. Because they sent me one also. I could shout them out anyway. Retro. Oh my God, I can't remember their names. Darn it. Anyway. Okay, so if you did the box with all those loose, how would you do it? Hey, good question, Zen. Yeah, that's a tough one because I usually don't sell this way on here, probably for that reason. But a collector would expect, that's a great question, would expect each one to be individually bagged. Like this guy he would be bagged, and he would probably get a figure case. I'd say it depends on how expensive they are. Like this guy is like a $20, $30, $40 figure, depending, right? So he'd probably get his own. But they would definitely want each one an individual bag. If you guys can confirm that for me. Toys R Us has great GI Joe shirts too. Retro, what is it? Retro, yeah, Retro something. I'm gonna think of their name. So yeah, the Toy Man and collectors confirm. If you would want each one of these to be individually bagged, just so everybody knows that is the truth. So hopefully that helps somebody out there. Plastic case below is bagged. There you go, Hallowed. They do, Wiz. They do. But if you're selling expensive figures, I think it's expected to have, like if I sold like a Snake Eyes or something like that, I think I should do the courtesy of putting it into one of those plastic cases, I would say. Maybe vintage toy stores. I probably have tons of that stuff. You probably hit them up and ask. Let's see if the crotch is not broken. That's amazing. Not broken crotch on him, even shipped that way. Figures should always be individually bagged, says Fodder Basher. There we go. You have the figure in case. Tape up the box as is and sell it me all. Should we put up the auction for it? I was gonna do Plink Joe. Let's see. Same goes for cards. Anything over $50 is one touch. Yes, perfect fit sleeve. Yeah, I mean probably even less than that, honestly, for sports cards. Or, I was gonna do a sports card packaging really quick too. Like this many cards, for an order, I would put, this I'm gonna start using a box for, right? Most of my cards that are over 50 go in a magnet plastic case. Yeah, I agree with that too. Let's do one more givey. Hopefully this is good information for you guys. I'd love to talk about more, but I do need to run a show at some point today as well. Thank you guys. For my stuff hand delivered. Team bags need extra tape. The stream. Yeah, that's interesting. So I mean, for cards also, you need your penny sleeves. I have penny sleeves in the stores usually. Need your penny sleeves for sure, right? And then you also, if you're putting it in the case, you can either put the card inside one of the baggies, like one of these bags, or you're gonna have to use your blue tape to tape the top of the case. Wait, what'd I do, Howard? Let's see. Team bags need extra tape. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That can happen. Well, I didn't show you what I do with the rest of them, though. I do more than what you just saw there. So I'll take this, right, and I'll wrap it in cardboard. I'll wrap this in paper and then put cardboard on top of that, right? I'm giving away a collector's goodie bag. So if you win, I'll give you some Garbage Pail Kids. Penny sleeve and top loader works put between cardboard and painter tape. Exactly, Wiz of Cards. That's why you're the Wiz of Cards. Amazon, I didn't have that ready to show, but that's exactly right. Give away a roll of tape. You can here, but that's another thing. Like we talked about too with packing. Packing tape should never go in the box. If you're using bubble, don't put packing tape on the bubble. This is like blue tape, low tack painter's tape, blue tape. If you're gonna do anything inside the box, use blue tape, low tack, low adhesive. That way they're not ripping things apart. Painter's tape, exactly. Now painter's tape can be expensive, so I got some of the cheaper stuff here. Plus I like to choose a color maybe that stands out that that maybe people recognize every time they get a package from me. They're like, oh, okay, that's the yellow tape seller, or the green tape, whatever. It's a little different, and they can remember that. I've gotten lots of cards where I just thought of something else I wanted to show you guys too. They slide out the top loader. Oh my God. Yeah, you have to do the team bags or this, but mine have adhesive pallets, so I'll put the cards in here, then fold it down, and the cards can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's never happened to me. $1.25 store painter's tape. There you go. That works too. Because I did start off doing sports cards on here, and I had to learn about the right way to ship them from my buddy Brad, who's been doing this for like 30 years, and I didn't realize all the things that had to go into shipping sports cards. Wrapping is fine. It's really inexpensive fig. Yeah, exactly. I don't block buyers. Some sellers are quick to block anyone. Yes, it is. I've actually talked about it in the stream before. I'm happy to talk about that. I think there's no point. Now, I like that Whatnot has the feature, though. I didn't realize this. They have a feature where you can temporarily block them, not permanently. Was it ban them from the stream? I think for a day, I think is what it is. Haha. So we could try banning you right now and find now. You could ban them from the stream for a day, which I love. But yeah, being trigger happy on the banning and the blocking, I don't understand. If there's a seller in here that can explain that to me, why you would do that, I can explain 100 reasons why you wouldn't do that. And maybe they could probably give 2 good reasons why you could. And beyond that, it becomes like an ego thing, I think, and I don't know. You can't take those kind of things personal. And the worst part is if you block someone and ban them, and they didn't mean anything bad by it. Do you know what I mean? Hold on one second. One tip that has served me well, you guys listen to Toy Man, he sold a lot of items on here, is getting to know your buyers. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, and Toy Man's better than that than me in real life, in IRL. But you got to connect with your buyers, no doubt about that. That's why I like reading the chats and engaging with you guys. And it's cool that you guys know each other. Okay, it's the internet. You block a lot of people, you will get a bad rap. Interesting. So also I come from the generation where we didn't live in that world of trolling and live in the world of blocking people. So I don't really subscribe to all that kind of stuff. I don't put myself in situations where I need to do that. So that's another reason. If maybe it's a more controversial streamer that maybe has more encounters like that, or you have people out there that are really trying to get that person because they're jealous or something. That I could see why you would block somebody that's trying to like mess you up and actually be, throw shade. I don't know, throw like bad vibes out there on purpose. Mean people trolling, like that's different. I could see why you'd have to ban someone like that. My streams are never those types of situations. Let's see. Don't block people unless they are truly jerks. Right. Because you're in a bad mood. If you're in a bad mood, you probably shouldn't be streaming anyway or talking very much and just talk about the product, honestly. But the reason I talk about this is because I was banned early on and whatnot from a stream. I was banned, guys, and you guys, a lot of you know the stories. How in the world could I have gotten banned? You must be asking yourself. Was it all the trolling and racial slurs? Please don't clip that. No, of course not. It's their loss, right? I think there's no way that person's a seller anymore. Here comes the giveaways. Here comes the giveaway. So I'll tell you why I got banned in a second and why you shouldn't do it. Stone Age Collectibles. Congratulations, Stone Age Collectibles. What do you collect? I'll send you a little Stone Age Collectibles goodie bag. And if you're a seller, I'd love to shout you out as well. Carolina Girl, welcome back. Thank you for coming in, Carolina Girl. Thanks for hanging out in the GPK stream. I do these little seller Q&As. What's going on? Card Hobbyist too. Carolina Girl was battling it out with Swim for Chris yesterday, guys. And I think she won, which is really hard to beat Swim for Chris in a bidding war. But the story is this. Early Whatnot, I was on a stream. I was trying to learn how people stream. Yeah. And because I've never done this before, right? I'm a seller on here. Here we go. I collect GI Joes and Motu figures. Perfect, Stone Age. I probably knew that. I'll send Stone Age some sort of GI Joe related item or Motu. Okay, an online shop that sells toys and all sorts of collectibles. And guys, GI Joe fire sale on 3/22 at 8 p.m. Check them out. The GI Joe community on here is probably the best community there is, in my opinion. So check that out. Model trains, none today, big boy. I'm sorry. Stone Age, thank you. I have like 2 little like tin toy trains. I think that's it. But thanks for asking, big boy. And I hate saying big boy because it sounds like I'm talking down. I'm like, sorry, chief. Sorry, big boy. Okay, the story was this, Howard. You gotta keep me on point. I got banned. That was the story. So the guy was selling 1989 Topps cards, wax packs, right? If you guys know, 89 Topps. Yeah, thank you. Ken Griffey Jr. is one of our favorite players if you're from that era. And he was like, oh, you guys can open these packs up and you can get a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. And I was like, excuse me, like in the chat, I was like, actually, Ken Griffey Jr. was in the traded set, so you can't get him, unfortunately. Just letting you know, I'm not trying to be just letting you know. And the guy got so triggered, he freaked out on me and was like, can you fucking believe this guy trying to tell me that Ken Griffey Jr. is not in the set? He's got to be long gone. And I was like, no, you don't understand. He's in the traded set. Look it up. And he's like, look, right here, guys. And he showed like online on eBay or something, like a sale of 89 Topps Ken Griffey Jr., but it's traded. And then like the next thing I know, he's, it's like, this guy's ridiculous. And then ban. And I saw a little screen pop up that was like, you've been banned from this stream or whatever. You've been blocked. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So that kind of triggered my like message to don't be like that guy, right? Like, he was wrong in so many levels anyway. And even if I was wrong, he looks like the asshole, not me, right? He was selling junk wax. And I don't think he was trying to pull anything on anyone. I just think he didn't know what he didn't know, right? My next show, gonna be soon, probably today. It's 11:50. I have to go. So I sell for this big collector that has a warehouse of items, if you've seen some of my past shows. So we kind of go through that. I'll probably do that show today by like 1 something. It's probably about 1:30. It'll be more of a pop-up though. Always accept criticism, I think it says, to fix yourself. Oh, totally 2-track. If it's like constructive stuff, like I'm always listening. There was a guy on here that came on Flint and he was giving me like good constructive feedback. I needed it. I was like, dude, it's okay. Like you can tell me, give me feedback. Same exact thing happened to me. I asked a guy selling, look at this shake, comics if he'd do lots. Ban you for giving advice because nothing was selling. Yeah, that you're not going to last long on here as a seller if you do stuff like that. That's crazy. You can tag people on here at Big House. You do an at their name, and you can do that. What's up, Mickey Design? Thanks for coming back in. You could definitely do that. Let me see if I can talk about any more shipping stuff before we wrap it up here. And thank you guys for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Please check out the previous streams. I'd love to do more stuff on YouTube. Actually, speaking of that, is Lance in here or no? Haha, I don't know if you're around. Thank you, haha. But I was gonna do like a show and tell thing, or like we're gonna use the co-host feature to do a quick interview with somebody if you're up to doing that. Now, I had done interviews in the past with GI Joe collectors, but let's say the Toy Man was on here or somebody. If you wanted to co-host real quick, I wanted to do a little show and tell and ask you like a few quick questions, like about either as a collector or as a seller or both. So someone like Toy Man, I think it would be both. You know, what's your seller journey on here, and then your collectors. You're also a collector, so you could show an item. You could talk about your whatnot journey and experience. That's the idea, and then we can take that content, right, and I can share it out. You guys can share it out. Remix would be a perfect person to talk to. You could share it out, and then it's a way also to get you guys more people interested in what you're doing. So if I bring on Remix and I'm like, guys, you got to check out Remix. It's one thing to shout them out, but let's meet Remix. Are you down for that, Remix? I don't know if you are. And we'll do a quick co-host. So not only do we show the co-host feature, we use that. We're connecting with other sellers and buyers. We're getting everyone to know about that seller, and then maybe you'll want to buy what he has, or you'll just be interested to hear about his whatnot journey. Yeah, you want to do it right now, real quick? Yeah. A mod should slow chat speed. Yes. Okay, I'll give you a second. Yeah, you got to powder your nose. I understand. Get all the stuff ready. Remember when people used to say powder your nose, or no? My grandma, they used to call it the powder room. And when I was like a 5-year-old, I just like, powder room? What the fuck's a powder room? And the room was blue. It was a blue bathroom. So I was like, oh, maybe it's because it's blue. I think I'm staying on target. You have to go to the bathroom and powder my nose is what grandma's exactly. It's a polite way to say, you know, something not so polite, I guess. But they really did have to powder their noses, though. I crack me up. I crack Mr. But yeah, stick around for more useless nonsense if you want, guys. We used to oh look, haha, here's your guy. Oh, thank you. And then a question mark. You crack me up? All right. What was I doing? I was don't do this. Don't send things like this. There you go. In the 80s, they were really powdering their nose. I think they were. The Toy Man, we should do a quick thing. Remix. So check out Remix Collectibles. I think the powdering the nose thing, highlight it. I think the powdering the nose thing was, you know, because they actually carried the little powder compacts around, right? All right. I'm trying to see if Remix is still here. Now I'm just staring at the camera blankly. You don't want to do that. If you ever get in the camera staring blankly thing, yeah, then almost there. All right. Then just talk about the item. This is Cutter. He's a GI Joe figure. Drives the whale from 1984. What's going on? First time. Welcome back. First time. How have your shows been going? Let's see. Growing a mustache? Yeah, he does have a mustache. Speaking of people with mustaches, let's talk about the greatest GI Joe mustaches out there. Starting with, see how I segue to women? Slow? Yeah, that's how it. Bazooka, #1 mustache? I say yes. You have a neck stash? First time, just keep at it. You got to keep being consistent. That's all I can say. Actually, I found a picture I wanted to show you guys. It's actually amazing. I wish I could share it somehow. I don't think I can share the picture. I'm trying to think. Wait, I can do this. No, how can I do this? I wish I could send pictures in here. It was a picture I took a screenshot of after I'd been Springer. Okay, I'm ready. All right, sweet. It was Springer Collectibles. I was already Springer Cards, and then Springer Collectibles, it was a screenshot of 19. I had 19 followers, and I screenshotted that. So it takes time and consistency. 19 followers when I first, you know, was doing that. That was in late 2021. All right. And all right, so here's what we do, guys. If you're a seller and you didn't know this, we're going to bring Remix in. Hopefully this will work. There's technical difficulties. Remix Collectibles. I got to think what I'm going to ask you. Hold on. We're going to click on him. He's got 5 stars. I'm going to invite him to co-host. You got to remind me your name, your real name if you want. Joe? Did I make that up? Is that working? I see it on this screen, but not on my phone.
There's the pops. Let's
All right. How
there,
come I
can you
can't see
see me okay?
phone? I can see you on my
There's a little bit
desktop,
better.
but not my phone. That's weird. Can everybody else see it, Joey? That's so weird.
I can't hear the volume.
Oh, I removed him. Let's try again. Of course, this is the bad example here. There we go.
All right, can you hear me?
Good to see you. The face to the voice. Yeah, I can hear you. Can everybody else hear?
Yeah, definitely a face for radio, huh?
Oh, look at that beard. I had to flip it. I had to flip it. Nah, man.
Lots of growing of that. That's all coming to an end soon, and Widget's going to be very happy about that. Widget usually co-hosts with me in our streams, so I'm
Is that your
Joey and we have
wife?
Widget.
Joey? Oh, okay, that's right. I remember reading your profile, Joey and Widget. I
Yep,
like that. I like that. Is that her nickname?
yeah, that's her nickname. Yeah, we try
Okay.
to stay away
Yeah.
from government names most of the time. That makes it more
Makes
fun.
sense. Yeah. How long you been growing the beard?
Oh, too long. If you ask her, it'll be too long. But
All
I've
right.
always been I've been a beard guy for a while.
Yeah, man. Well, all right. Can we talk about your whatnot journey real quick? Like, I'd love to
Love it.
hear
I'd love to.
how you
Yeah.
got on here. Yeah. How'd you discover whatnot?
So I've always been one. So we're deep, as you can see. There's a bunch of Funko in the background. I've always been a collector. Um, Toys, sneakers, hats. Um, always collected stuff, and I've always tried to
Yeah.
find ways when I found something cool, that I want to throw it up and sell it. And then I came across the app, and threw a couple big grailish Funko pieces on here, and they sold
Okay.
in the marketplace. And
Wow.
we didn't apply. Whatnot actually reached out to us,
Wow. That's amazing.
because we sold some cool pieces, right? And I just like, yeah, whatever. This is kind of time consuming. I don't know if I want to do it. Well, 2 years later, look where we're at.
Huh? Wow.
So yeah, so it's been
So
that
just
that was the start. They come to us, and people are always like, "What, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was
yeah.
the strangest thing. They reached out to us."
And you don't have a store, a brick and mortar. Are you a big eBay seller? Social media? Nothing. That is a
No, I was just selling some big pieces on here. Now, the name was new, like Remix. Like, I never really sold under Remix. We're named after our one of our dogs. Actually, she just recently passed away, but we're named after. That's what I named this after, this journey. And yeah, we would
that's
sell stuff. Widgets would sell stuff on eBay. I hate to mention the other names on here, the competitors, but
okay.
Mercari.
Sure.
Tried to do some Craigslist stuff, but I was like, hey, I found this. Let's try something different.
Okay.
And then what has been nice is, like I said, 2 years later, we're doing these live streams, and we've made a lot of great acquaintances and friends. Your stream was one of the probably earliest streams I got on and watched.
Oh, cool.
Um, like I borrowed your idea of the Plinko, like I've told you before, and we
All
do that
good.
for our giveaway shows. We do Funko Plinko. Um,
Funko Blinko.
yeah,
Nice.
so we have a
That's
lot of
funny you
fun with
say
that. But
Funko
yeah,
Blinko real quick. I just
what's
bought
that?
Funkos for the first time. I just bought a lot of Funko for the first time, and I was trying
Yeah,
to think of a name to do Plinko with, and you just mentioned that. It's just funny because I bought like a lot of 50 just to see what happened. It's a long story, but I meant now I know you're a Funko guy. I'm gonna pick your brain on that at some point or show you what I got.
anytime.
It's nothing special, but I was trying to think of doing a Plinko style, and I was gonna do Pop Plinko. I think it was like Pops Plinko or Plinko Pops or something like that. But Funko Plinko. Anyway, continue. So
But
you
yeah,
did
so
you did
no,
that kind of
we've been
stuff.
on here for 2 years. We're just at 11,000 followers the other day.
Wow,
Um,
that's
I
incredible.
but we kind of expanded. Like, we started with Funko. We do action figures as well because I collect. I PC a lot of. We PC Funko. I PC. I just went down, and that's one of the thing is watching your streams
Yeah.
has gotten me to go down that rabbit hole more and more of vintage Joes, and then I've
Oh,
expanded.
cool.
And now Widget probably wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's that cool, but
Right. Another
but
box.
no. So
Yeah.
collect those. I still collect the do sneakers, but we've been into Funko, and I'll tell you what, like just meeting a lot of amazing people has been really cool about this app that
Yeah.
we would have never probably met. Like, we're literally
Absolutely.
going to C2E2 in Chicago because there's a bunch of Funko friends going, and they say, hey, come on, let's go out, let's go, and then we're gonna go. Like, we might have
Totally.
not probably wouldn't have done that before. We was, oh, C2E2, that looks cool. But now,
Yeah.
so that's the community aspect of Whatnot is what sets it apart to us.
You're right.
So
And when they first started talking about that, because I've been on since June 2021, they were talking about community. I didn't really get it because I'm not a collector, and now like as it went along and the Joe community grew, and what you're talking about, and then I started seeing the collectors in my streams becoming friends. I was like, oh, I get it now. It's like Facebook groups, but like you can really interact, but on a totally different level. see each other in person. You have someone that you have a lot in common with. Automatically, you have that background. So I got it immediately. I thought that was, oh, is that a marketing thing? They're talking about community. I was like, I'm just thinking it's a selling app, but it totally is. I
Oh, it's a
couldn't agree more.
legit community. It's not
Incredible.
some selling technique. I joke
No.
about it. And like when I do my streams, I always try to say, "Hey guys, we're collectors first." So
Yeah.
I don't mind if I lose a couple dollars if I'm helping out another collector. I'm not one of those guys that goes on and say, "Hey, look at this pop." I look at what the main price is going for, and then I try and go $15 above it.
Yep.
This app already has enough of those people, and they come and go
Sure.
all the time.
Yeah.
I think what's helped with our longevity is being able to connect and enjoy the community and hang out. Because there's days I've had streams where I haven't sold a thing, but it's been the most fun stream we've had, and I don't
Sure.
care.
And that's why
You
you have
know,
11,000 followers, because people want to watch your streams. They want to, if they're gonna. There's a million Funko sellers, right? So they'd rather buy the Smurf from you than the other guy, even if it was a dollar more. They'd rather give the business to you. Is what I think. What you're also saying, and I
and I
agree with that.
and I try that, but like I don't even
But you try to.
like. We're almost too nice to a fault sometimes on our pricing.
I know what you mean.
You know,
Totally.
but because it's just we just like to make sure we like to help out the fellow collector and stuff like that, and sometimes I let like Widget yell at me, why you get upset? Like sometimes I get upset like I really wanted that thing and this dude just so I know what it's like. I bid on stuff too, so I know, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So we're definitely very active on both sides of the coin.
Knowing your buyers or knowing what they're experiencing, that's huge for what we're doing here. I have a weird situation where I'm not a collector, so I can separate myself and not be attached to the items, which helps. But at the same time, I can't connect the same way that you can with the community as well. So there's like a positive and negative to that. Because I started selling my own stuff from childhood, and some of it I was like a little like, oh man. But then I'm like, you know what? I'd rather someone who really appreciates it, like have my Mike Tyson's Punch Out with the box, instead of me that actually collects video games. Let them grade it, let them display it. It's all good. But someone asked a
Really
question
quick,
actually.
somebody asked the question, do you think it's more
Yes.
beneficial sticking to a solid category versus a more general category? What's been good for us is branching out. We like I said,
Mm-hmm.
we started with Funko. We do sports cards. What the sports card aspect has done for me personally, and done for me, Widget and I actually, is now we have officially partnered with a local card shop, and we're doing their whatnot streams.
That's awesome.
So what we do is we go on. So it's called Father Son Cards, and I go in there
Oh,
once a
I've seen
week
them. Okay.
on Tuesdays. We do $2 Tuesdays, and everything starts at $2. And actually, Widget and I are going to go in there and do a break for him this weekend. So, but
Sweet.
it's allowed us to grow as collectors like that too. Because we got into the card thing because I'm sure you were there too. 2020, I
Oh my
need to make
gosh.
some money. I'm a DJ. I wasn't working in 2020.
Oh my gosh.
So we got
Yeah.
in for it, but the collector side of us kind of took over, and now we met a lot of good people doing that. And yeah, there's Father Son Cards one. If you guys are into cards, bookmark them or give them a
Yeah.
follow. Thanks,
Check
Widget,
them
for
in there.
posting that.
Oh, thanks,
So we've
Widget.
done that,
Okay.
and then action figures. So I had all these. I had a lot of stuff I collected over the years. So I was able to
Yep.
bring those to the stream, and we do those about once or twice a month. Um, and then one of the things that was so cool is because I'm a sneaker guy, we did a few sneaker streams, and I got rid of a
Wow.
bunch of old sneakers, like
Nice.
good sneakers, like Dunks and Jordans,
Yeah.
stuff people's looking for. So that opened a whole nother community to us. So now we got really good
Right.
friends like that, like Sneaker Vet and stuff like that. We met through
Wow.
those streams. Um, so yeah, it go back and like I said, I think it's good to kind of start with one category, but if you're able to expand and you enjoy the expanding. Don't try and take
Yeah.
on something that you're like, hey, I see Bob over there is making a lot of money off of that. I'm going to jump into that. That.
Some,
Don't do that.
yeah, Lego figures. Right.
Kind of have a
You got
sort
to
of a
know what you're
passion
selling and
about it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's
So
that's great advice. Honestly, that's amazing. And I've talked about it before. Like what you said, definitely agree with. The other thing is maybe start off with a category you know really well, build the following in the community because it's easier to stay on point with one thing. But at the same time, if it might be harder to break into certain categories. So I guess I'd want to ask that seller, what are you selling? Because if you were selling Pokemon, that's going to take a lot of hard work, I think, to get into Pokemon or Funko Pops. It's going to take extra amount versus if they started off on something more niche that they could not dominate, they could, make a impact. Like I'm doing Garbage Pail Kids lately, right? And that's a small community, but you can have a nice impact there. That's just one example. Maybe they start doing a niche, like something like that. So I think there's different ways to look at it for sure. But I
Oh
like
yeah.
your idea though about being able to connect with other communities, and that can lead to other things like selling for father and son cards. So that would have never happened
And
if you
what's
didn't
nice
do that.
in the branching out too is like I like to go in, like I love going in to all the Joe sellers, and not even somebody's buying that. I like to start up conversations and building that type of rapport too, and just that's one of the things, like we just like to be ourselves. And I guess
Yeah,
that's a good way to do it. People are worried about entertaining, like yelling at the chat. Come on, chat! This needs to go for more. Ah,
yeah,
we've had a decent success, and people tune in because we're being ourselves. I have people that have like stopped us at toy shows, or like, man, I love your streams. I love your guys' banter. That's what got
yeah,
us on with the card shop, because widgets and we've been together almost 20 years. We're closing on been
yeah.
so we
Wow,
get on each other's nerves legit sometimes, because that's what couples do when you've been together
sure.
that long. And it comes out. It's not like we're going to get off of here and scream at each other, but we just have that type
It's
of like
snarky.
realistic
Yeah,
banter, and it's always fun. I
yeah. No,
agree.
that's
Wizard
great.
cards, I agree with
Yeah,
that right there. That is my biggest turnoff in a stream, is yelling like that, and just
yeah,
come on, chat. This should be more. Well, can I throw this one out really quick too? I don't
yeah.
want to take over your,
No, you're
but
doing
like
great.
guys, if you're worried, if you're as a seller, if you're worried about losing money on something, don't start at $1. Don't start at
Yes.
$2. Start at the price you're comfortable with. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. You got it for the next stream. Um, too often do I see streamers, oh, come on, this should have went for $30. It sells for $8. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Say congratulations, thank you. You just got a great deal on that, because
Yep.
then that person's going to come back. If you yell at them and be like, oh man, you just stole from me, I shouldn't have. I don't want to go back to your stream.
No way. Feel
So like when
awful
I go
about
come
this
in a
like that.
stringer, I feel comfortable coming in and just like I will turn your stream on in the background when I'm packing stuff, because
That
there's
means
a
a lot.
night you get some banter, you get I like that. That's the thing I like. And I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
so even if I'm not buying anything, you went from 17 to 18 people, or you went from
Yep.
22 to 23 people. And I'm chilling. I'm having a good time. So
Yeah. Agree.
I think those type of people tuning in is just as important as your buyers.
That's a good point. I totally agree. I actually used to say that during the Joe streams because some people would do that, and I was amazed by that, and that actually gave me confidence to propel into more of that style of show, to not make it just about selling. It was more about it was almost like a podcast or a radio show or just I at the end of the show I always say thanks for the bids, buys, and BS. It was banter. Thanks for the bids, buys, and banter because I would just talk about nonsense that people related to because I knew that all the buyers were Gen X like me. They were born in the 70s and early 80s, and the references I made they would get, and it was fun. So that you could combine the selling with the fun, and people enjoyed that. And I would say, look, you don't have to buy something to hang out. Like contribute, talk about the product, just hang out. People would say what you said, and that was meant a lot to me. They're like, I just put you on the background, and that means a lot because I do that too. Like I'll listen to a favorite podcast and in the background I just listen to people bullshit and it gets you through some boring times or whatever too.
In a
So
way, we
appreciate.
are a podcast. I
Yeah,
mean, we're selling, but we're a podcast. Like we are very fortunate, and where we've got mods that come in and hang out. We've grown like a nice grouping of people that come through, and they'll hang out, and we'll just
yeah,
be us, and we'll have a good. And then other people come in and be like, "What do I just walk into?" And then they're contributing,
yeah.
and that always that fun aspect is just that's the most amazing. That's my favorite part of the app.
And I think that's going to help the long tail. If we put our business hat on, that's going to help the selling part too, because it's a better place to be and somewhere where people want to buy, not a contrived way, but in more of a natural, organic way, where I'd rather contribute. I'd rather support, as people would say, this seller than that seller, or this local card shop. I'd rather support Remix than go down the street. I'd rather give him and Widget the business. And you're not asking for that; they just do it. I think that works out. It's a reciprocity. I don't know about you, but I was amazed. I started getting packages and gifts from people. especially during the pandemic, people would send me like toys or nostalgic things that they knew I might like, and I was blown away by that. So
So one of
that was
our
great.
mods, and then I think a couple other people, somebody else tried to send something that legit I think got lost in the mail. But when we
Yeah.
lost Remix a few weeks ago, our namesake,
Oh. Oh man. Yeah.
when we lost her, one of our people come in, just hang out, has a good time with us, sent us this really nice a frame that we
Yeah.
could take a picture of Mixie and put it in there. And I just thought that was so heartfelt and cool. Like Widget and I kind of
Yeah.
like teared up a little bit. Like
Seriously.
little things like that, you're doing something fun, you're doing something cool, and
Yeah.
that God, that meant more than any kind of tip you could get, or
Yeah.
if they bought something like that. Gifts of the heart definitely can mean that's a profit too.
I agree.
So,
It keeps you going. It feels good. It's amazing. It feels like you're doing something. You're having a bad day or something. You can. Those are the kind of things that pump you up and say, "Yeah, I remember that. Like that was a positive thing, and we are doing something that means something to people. So that's awesome, and you're having a good impact on people's lives. Do you guys do in Widget do like YouTube or anything like that, or is this strictly on
so
here?
we've joked about it, and we're not tech savvy. At least I'm not. She's more than me, but she has a full time job that
Sure.
she has to dedicate a lot to with that. I'm a DJ, I have more time, and I think I need to learn some of that stuff. And I know it's a lot more cut and paste now than it ever has been before.
So much easier now than
Um,
ever.
but with the people that we interact with, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
like I think it would be hilarious. Like we just this the daily
Yeah.
situations I get myself in,
I could
or
see. I already
like
would think you had one the way based on how you're presenting yourself,
well,
based on the stories. Yeah.
and everybody jokes. So, honey, I know you're watching. I apologize, but Widget's very clumsy.
Okay.
So, like she'll have a story, and everybody gets to it now and relates because she tripped over a gas hose a couple months ago,
Oh,
pumping
it's
gas.
relatable. Yep.
But it was early. It was before work. She's probably in a hurry. Tripped over the gas hose, got a scrapple scratches. She scratched her car. But and
Oh man.
you feel bad for her, but people can relate, and it's a funny story because they know her now. They've been through a few streams with
Yeah.
her. They're like, that sucks, but man, so now they come through and they joke and have fun. And
And then they can tease her, be like, "Did you trip on it again?" I definitely understand that. That's cool. And to
and
be
with the with
open and transparent about your lives, people enjoy that because you're real, like you're genuine, like she's telling an embarrassing story, and that's relatable and fun.
and then when we bring the dogs on our stream,
Oh yeah.
God, people love that. Mixie hardly ever came in. She kind of stayed away from us, but before she passed, she actually came through a few of our streams, and we
Yeah.
had showed her. But the other dog's the star. Her name's Mabel.
Nice.
She has her own Instagram. She hasn't updated for a
Oh
while,
wow.
but
Okay.
she has. Everybody loves her. When she comes in here, we show her, and everybody has a good time with that too. So that going back to, I think it would be funny to do a YouTube with we've kind of tossed it around lately, so it's funny that you brought that up.
Well, it's easy, and this is for you and for everyone else listening who's a seller. And I haven't grown my YouTube the way I thought I would, which is fine because I haven't done enough work on it. But you could do it organically, easily, because Whatnot allows us to do it, which is insane. The fact that you can connect your YouTube channel to the stream, like right now, this is simulcast to my YouTube right now. Now I'm not leveraging that like I should, but all I do is click a button to say, click the API connects, and from now on, all my streams that are on Whatnot are automatically in my YouTube channel. So I can only have to touch my YouTube and they'll just be there. So I would say at the very least, if you don't like set up a YouTube channel, which is super easy because you have a Gmail account, you have YouTube
Oh,
basically already.
we have a
You
channel.
already
I
have
just
YouTube.
haven't done anything with it.
Oh, so you literally can next time you stream. I don't know if you saw the pop up or maybe you turned it off. You can just have all of your whatnots go right to YouTube automatically. And I think other applications too. I can't remember if it's Insta or something else, but this is streaming right now live on YouTube, and then it'll be saved, and then I can take that content and make shorts or whatever, and it's pretty easy to do.
Oh, okay, we'll have
Um,
to look into that. And one of the
yeah,
things too is we need to move some stuff, and I'd like
big
to
time.
eventually move to a computer. You go stream. I've been streaming off my phone. I'd love to
Me
stream
too.
off a computer and actually show our face more and have a table and present stuff.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like that's a big deal too because that's all part of the whole being able to relate with people.
I think so
So
for you guys. Yeah,
that's one of the other things we are looking at. because I'm always willing to, I love sitting under the learning tree. That's what I, when I first came in your stream today, I said, oh my God, I'm late. I love sitting and listening to this type of banter, because
Awesome.
if you think that you're better and you don't need to learn anything, then you need to go find something else to do. There's always room under the learning tree.
Always.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I tell my son when he plays basketball, he's like, hey, he thinks, oh, I'm so good now. I've learned everything. I was like, do you think, it's like LeBron James still hasn't learned it? Like Dirk, oh, what's his name? Doncic, Luka Doncic just learned to do a step back like 3 years ago. And now he's the best. You can learn. You can never stop learning. Like you said, like there's so much I could do better, so much you could do or different that we both could do that we've changed. Like I was watching some of my old streams. Big House asked about old streams, and yes, you can. If the seller has turned them on, you can watch past streams and clips. And I was watching that, and I never done anything like this before, and I was just very like monotone and just whatever, and
well, the old
wasn't very
streams are
engaging.
hilarious to go back and watch.
Yeah. But then once you start feeling more comfortable, like I never go on screen, just like you're saying, you don't go on screen, and it's not as comfortable. I'm way more comfortable behind the camera, like just saying ridiculous stuff. I'm 46 also, JP, or I will be 46 this year. Um,
I'm
you know,
47.
yeah. I mean, we're just we're in the in between generation. I love to say because we learned on like typewriters, but we're like the first kids having computers. Like in college. So
Apple
like
IIc.
yeah, like we had. I took a typing class in high school, but I also had like the first cell phone. So you kind of been part of the. You still are techie enough to relate now, but also old school enough that you can still pull back from that. But I think you guys should do on screen. You're super comfortable, obviously, on camera, which is like half the battle, like more than half the
That's
battle.
kind of scary
So
though if I get too comfortable. I'll tell you right now.
right. If I were you, I would definitely do it. And with the wife, if she's supportive of what you're doing, and you have the dogs, and you got all the Funkos, I think that'll just ramp you guys up to another level, in my opinion. Especially like the shoes. People like to be on screen for the shoes for whatever reason. Maybe that's a thing, but why not? I think it help. I think it'll help you guys for sure, in my opinion.
I
Uh,
agree. I agree.
yeah, it's good stuff. I was expecting this to be like a quick thing, which is fine. It's not. I could talk to you probably for 2 hours about this stuff. I started doing that like on my YouTube. That was supposed to be the plan. I was going to do this thing with like interviewing collectors because I didn't know anything about collecting, and I literally was part for me to learn and part for them to be able to show their collections off because that's part of the fun is being able to show everybody, and relate. Like, look what I've created over 20 years or whatever. So we did that in the beginning. If you can see that on my YouTube, there's some collector interviews. But this is like kind of that, and I think this is a good way to do this seller Q&A stuff though, because we should be using our co-hosting more often, right? And Whatnot's trying to do where you can co-host and sell, like where we could both sell at the same time. I think they're trying to work on that technology.
But
So
I like the concept of sellers doing this. I wish this was more of a thing when I started, because
yeah,
we've had to teach ourselves a lot, read a lot, watch. Like if you can kind of go in, if we could go back to 2 years ago, and this was something we could sit and watch and learn from,
oh yeah,
um, it would have been amazing. I wish I would see. I don't see enough of this type of stuff. And it's funny
yeah,
because I saw you doing this again today, and I've actually thought about trying to do one of these a week myself when I don't have jack squat
nice,
going on.
yeah,
Inviting other Funko people in, and
you should.
or collectors in general, because yeah, it's another great tool. It's always good to have these extra tools in your toolbox that you can kind of reach back and grab, for the
Yeah,
whatever job you need to do. So
it only helps to share knowledge. I mean, I'm trying to share knowledge, and also, there's a bunch of aspects for it. There's definitely like I'm trying to actually. I do want to work for Whatnot at some point. At some on that side. I've never actually wanted to work for a company before because I started my own companies for 20 years. I've never had a real job, right? So that's a whole other story. But and I actually see the company. I'm like, this company I want to work for. So I figured doing stuff like this, they need more of this, like you said. And this is the kind of content that I feel like they need to do more. They have like their Zen, they have their support thing on their website where you can type in questions, but having this like one-on-one stuff and more content like this and talking about being a Whatnot seller because it's become so mainstream now, I think is definitely important. They do have Whatnot sellers handle, and they do shows every couple weeks, but not every day or
well,
anything.
what I would like to see is
Yeah,
some of these big sellers.
exactly what you
Okay,
said.
they got thousands of followers, and
Yeah,
take one day and not focus on the selling and try and get a whatnot maybe employee on here and
that's a
do
great
the
idea.
same type of thing,
With
because
one of
there's
the
already,
sellers. Yeah,
yeah, because you already have that following. But I think there's some tribalism, and there's some people, they don't want, I don't want to give other people those tools so I don't lose my sales.
yeah.
Where I don't care. I
Yeah.
think the more the merrier.
There's no big
So,
secrets anymore anyway. Everything's you literally can just go on YouTube and learn anything now from anyone. You know, there's free content all over the place because people also monetize through free content anyway.
right.
And it's just, look at Gary Vaynerchuk is a good example. He's like, I feel like he was the pioneer of that kind of stuff, just giving out free information, free content, and they should do that. I mean, they did do a collector. They did a seller interview thing, but it's like I don't know who they did. I think they did it with Jen Deals. If you guys have heard of Jen Deals, but I agree with you. Like, it would be cool to hear from some of the sellers that have really crushed it to just kind of get their feedback. How do they run their business behind the scenes
And it'd
and
be
sort of thing.
also cool to chat with some of the people that are trying to get over that hump.
Yeah,
For them to have the chat with the whatnot person or with somebody else, to see where they're at
true.
and to get feedback in the chat, to kind of to have that Padawan that every
Yeah,
Jedi needs. So
it's true. You do need that, honestly. Like, and just be able to bounce ideas off one another. Even this kind of stuff. Like, I think we've both come up in our heads a bunch of ideas we might implement. I know I have. I rewatched this, and maybe I inspired you to do YouTube, and I'm thinking of stuff that you said, and that's from like a 20-minute conversation. So, there's definitely a lot we can learn from one another. That's another thing I started learning from these Q&As is I was getting so much information back from other people giving advice that I didn't know either, because there's always moving parts with selling on here too. Let's see what reselling says. Seems to be the only app where people want to constantly talk to customer service. All right, never care. I know. I think I know what you mean. Reselling, as far as like if there's problems. Let's
but
see.
eBay is a
Another.
different thing. eBay is not
It
as
is.
personable.
No,
Here,
eBay
here,
is.
this is a personable
Yeah,
thing. eBay, you're just a number. I don't look at it. That's what's the unique thing about whatnot. It's not just a number. I know there's a nickname and there's some funny nicknames. Oh my gosh, I'm sure you have them come through your streams. You're
oh
like, how did
yeah, I
I get
love
on
it.
here? But there's still an interaction. So I think that's one of the big differences there with reselling everything when he's saying that. Yeah, I who wants to talk to their customer service anyways? That other app,
No,
it's usually crap too, to be
yeah,
honest with you. That's what's great about this app is customer
hmm
service is they're so easy to get a hold of. They're so
yes,
easy to work with. And they don't just they listen to situations and they are true customer service. Sometimes when there's busy times it might take a little bit longer, but
sure.
any issue we've had they have clarified it for us really fast. So
I couldn't agree more. It's incredible, and they use
widget
Zendesk
widget
ticketing
just
system,
put
so
it down
everything
there
is
in the
tracked
chat. That
more
simplifies
fair
it.
and takes care of both buyers. I completely agree, Widget. It's it's a different animal than you can't even compare it to eBay at all. It's like there's no human aspect there. Whereas whatnot, you can actually talk to people and they'll actually take care of you. I've never had. I mean, I've shipped over 25,000 orders. Had like no major drama at all. USPS has been amazing. Whatnot's been amazing, and I just think you're right about that. I think that's where more people will discover this. This is still in its infancy. Whatnot. Like, most people, I don't know if you guys. I'd love to hear what you think. If you mention whatnot to like the general people that you in your lives, I guarantee I would think none of them have heard of it. Maybe one. Maybe I heard about that, but I don't know anyone that actually understands what it is. Do you have that experience too, where
Oh,
they don't understand what it is?
100%. I know Widget
Go
talks
for it.
about it with her coworkers. I talk about it with my friends. I put it on social media. We slowly get more of them coming in. I have a buddy. So my buddy that got me into Funko
Yeah.
years ago, he does Twitch, he does Instagram, and he didn't know anything about whatnot. And I finally got him on there.
Wow.
He's dragging his feet to sell, but
Wow.
he was into all this stuff, right? He had all
Yeah.
this social media, and he really didn't know that much about it.
That's surprising.
So
People
even
like that. If you
people
come
that
from
are
the Twitch world, this should be like this is natural. To come
right.
over to something like this. I
And
mean,
he
that's
said he's
Twitch.
scared to get on here. I'm like,
Really?
dude, you're on there playing games. You do an Instagram feed where you review hats. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you
It's
don't have to be on camera. Like, you tell him, he probably knows that his face doesn't have to be on. You know, I think that's a no-brainer, and he's got a big. It sounds like he has a big following he could bring over here easily, and he has friends that would support him in what he's doing. So that he seems like the perfect person to come on here, for sure.
that's a great
I'm the
point,
opposite of
Azir.
that. Yeah, another helpful tool for shipping is knowing when trucks pick up your local post office. Yes, definitely. Don't wait in line either at the post office. You have a bunch of stuff like use the kiosk or get daily pickups or weekly pickups. I would never wait in that line. Could kill your whole day. It could kill your day. So you have to use the kiosk at the very least, or Whatnot has the manifests too. If you can create a relationship with the USPS and bring the manifest and have them scan that and just drop all the boxes off in one location, you don't have to wait in line. I'd probably scare people off if I get on camera. I don't see it. I think people think that kind of stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't think it matters. It's not like people are like so superficial anymore like that. I think it's all about how you present yourself and what you say more than any the way you look and things like that. I don't know. I mean, there's so much content out there now. It's different than it was. Not everybody has to. I don't know what you mean by scary, JP, but I don't think that's the case. I think everybody. I'm amazed and impressed by people that go on stream and they're on the whole time, especially the generation that's older than us. I'm like, damn, you guys, that's impressive. Like, I understand like the 21-year-old doing it because they grew up with this shit, but like a 60-year-old nurse, like I'm thinking of a seller who's like just a mom that sells, trinkets or whatever, and she's going on camera. I'm like, impressive. Like, I think
Well,
that
I'm
takes a lot of
always
guts.
amazed by that. We'll kind of joke like that was funny or this
People are so
mannerism
stupid.
was funny, but you know what it did is we look for him to come back on because we were amused by it too, which was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So everybody should take a stab at it because you can always have
I agree.
something that appeals to other people.
That's right. And you just have to get out of your head. Like, I get into my head when I do that. If you were in your head thinking about what do I look like, what faces am I making, that is going to be a bad stream. That's why it's more comfortable being behind the scenes because usually I am looking for stuff or doing a little housekeeping. But being on camera, that's why I'm so impressed by those people who are on camera the whole time. Just to be able to scratch your nose or something, like, it's
Oh,
impressive to
I
me. Just whatever.
I pick my nose while I'm streaming. I pick my ear, burp, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're humans. That's what we do.
We're humans. Right. And that's kind of
So
probably part of the fun too, honestly. I do worry though, I gotta remember to take this off. Someone joked last time, make sure I take this off, because if I do a giveaway and I go to the bathroom or something, this is on. I
it's
don't know
like
how
the
that has to
Naked
happen more.
Gun. You remember
That's
that scene
exactly
in
the
the
reference
Naked
we
Gun
made.
where he did that?
Yep. Yep. And he's in the bathroom. Exactly. Or like that HBO documentary. I can't remember the guy's name. He was committed murder, and he admitted it in the bathroom with his lavalier on. I don't know if you guys saw that. If I'm talking about, he's like, I can't believe they realized I killed him or something like that, and that became anyway. That's an extreme example of don't leave the mic on. I only watch those who pick boogers, says Wiz.
Well,
But
Wiz, coming. I'll pick a booger for you, buddy.
what
I'll
kind of
do it
brand
as
of
a
mic?
giveaway if you want it. I'm like,
This mic, I think it's pretty standard. Like if you go on Amazon, there's a dime a dozen these things. There's like a little thing that connects into the iPhone, and then you can put the charger in that. I don't. If you just type in lavalier wireless lavalier mic in Amazon, they're probably like $15. You could probably find a packet too. I killed them all. That's it. I killed them all. That was it. Yeah, I forgot who it was though. Who was it? It doesn't matter. It's my coworker will sometimes forget to take his headset off and take it home with him. I've done that, JP, back in the day. Rode are good mics. I mean, this you don't have to spend a lot of money, by the way, to stream. Whatnot's talked about that too. Like cheap ring lights, natural daylight. You don't need a lot of crazy equipment at all to stream. Your phone, and that's it. And a little I've used in the past when I don't know where my tripod is. This has been my tripod, or if I forget my tripod, I stuff the phone in there and make sure that the volume's not there. This is one of the best tripods I ever used during the GI Joe streams because it was level with the figures. So little silly tip there to save money.
innovation is always a good thing.
Yeah, and being a oh, here, I'm a perfectionist. I was just about to say that before I read that. But I have to stop thinking too much about it. Exactly. People love relatability and don't care if it's not perfect. 100%. And we all are guilty of that, Blazy. And so, like, going live, making content, it won't be perfect. The best creators out there don't have, their earlier videos aren't perfect. Just go in there. And if you're talking about selling, like, if you don't know what to do, always talk about the item. Like, if you get stuck and you're, like, in your head, just talk about the item. And that's all that matters at that point. For people, they're there for, for that. And then maybe you'll get more comfortable once you gain your audience and you talk about the item. Maybe that'll make you feel a little better about what you're doing. But Blazing Bunny, are you a seller? Let's see. I like to look at the sellers' profiles there. Yes, Blazing Bunny view profile. All right, YouTube and TikTok. Okay, we got beauty, exotic snacks. See, this is stuff I need to learn about. I don't know anything about the snack world and all that stuff. That you can sell snacks, but 322. Look at this, exotic snacks and candy from around the world. I want to know about
That's
that, Blazing
those
Bunny.
have been selling. Yeah, I've been seeing more and more of those sellers pop
What?
up.
At 10 o'clock? What is that? You can sell food? What? That's amazing.
The
Run
Toy
items
Man,
to
the
request.
Springer Snack Show. I like it.
Zen, amazing question. Let me hold on one second. Zen, that's a great question, but Springer Snack Show. I mean, I would sell. You guys know I would sell anything on here that collectors want. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We'll do snacks. What are exotic? Can you give me one example of an exotic snack though? Like, would it be like I don't know, Cheez-Its with the like from the '80s? Or are we talking about like new? We can actually eat stuff like exotic, like different countries, like I don't know, Fritos from another country. Is that what we mean?
Well, what's
Pina
great is like
colada, Kit
there's
Kats.
different flavors in different countries of different things. One of our
Okay,
good friends here on the app that we met through the app that does
you
Funko
know about
Smoke and
this stuff. Okay,
collectibles, they
yeah,
send Canadian chocolates with their product,
nice. Okay,
which is a
it's
cool
like a
little
throw
thing
in.
to do.
Yeah, best chocolates ever. What? Wow. Okay, Big Al, that's a great idea. I think we're gonna sell Springer's exotic snack packs. I like it, but maybe I see that's another thing we can uh, segue into that is learning from other sellers and learning from other categories you don't even exist. Maybe you learn something from the snack category, the Funko category. You watched mine and you saw the Plinko thing. Like there's things you can pick up from other streams. I learned from shoe sellers because those guys are experts at what they do, most of them, right? I mean that's what they do. They're like the pioneers of a lot of this stuff.
I like the gem
And gamers,
sellers sometimes.
yes,
The,
yeah,
the reason being is you have to be so precise in what you're
okay,
showing. So I'll watch them just they have it spinning around and they talk about everything on it, and I think that can cross over to what we're selling too. Like if I'm like, all right, I got
true.
this out of box Funko, right, and it's got this. You take your time, and that's one of the things that kind of sets us apart too. Is we do take that time. We like to show everything about the product, so nobody, I want to make sure everything's seen on the screen, and that's what I've taken from those. So
Well, you guys have guts selling Funko because I'd be scared to sell Funko in boxes, and I could probably do a whole interview with you about Funko because I'm gonna be Tom Hanks and big. I don't get it. I don't get the no. I don't get the box thing. Like I get
so
it, but like if you
we
have one
we
thing on the
started
box,
collecting before that
yeah.
was a thing. Like when we collected, there wasn't protectors.
So you have a lot of open ones, or you collected and kept them sealed.
We collected them in boxes because they're easier to display because you can stack them. But the box
Okay, true.
condition wasn't as big a deal when we started.
Okay,
Now somebody sees a 2011 pop, they get mad if there's a nick in the box. I'm like, it's a 13-year-old pop. Like I can't. There wasn't protectors back then.
interesting.
So
That's what I'm wondering. Like why it's so important because like I'm gonna pick up this Funko lot, and in the back of my head, I'm like, they're not expensive ones. They're not anything. They're probably like average of $15 each. But I'm like, what if they all have dings on them and I didn't know it? Because that could really kill it, right? I would think. Or what is important to a Funko? Is it more like the higher end ones they want perfect, or do they also want like the common, you know,
well,
Snow
the
White,
hot thing now is PSA in the last year or so has started doing
they're great?
PSA grading.
Oh my god! Wow!
So
Wow!
I we're Widget and I don't want to knock anybody that it's interest. I'm not that's not the point of me saying this. We're not into
Yeah,
it. That
yeah.
doesn't
That's
but some people really are and they want that encased grade. And very seldom do they come back a 10 or a 9. They're most of them are 8 and 8.5s.
I was gonna say like
So
that's such a new way of grading. I couldn't imagine that could really kill
and
the
they
value too.
and we've seen it where they've taken it and they've sent it back and the pop inside the box has been turned upside down because they didn't handle it right.
Oh
Like
my god!
and
Yeah,
you
that's
can't get
not.
in
They're
there because it's
big.
encapsulated.
Wow. Funkos, I have a lot to learn about Funkos, and whatever I say is never a negative. It's more like I'm trying to learn, and I don't
Right.
understand what I don't understand. But that's important. Like you can't just go selling Funko Pops without knowing these kind of things. I saw there's a whole reason I bought this lot anyway. That's beyond like they were. I got a good. I was like they were like $4.50 each, $5 each. You can't really go wrong. I think right with buying pops at like $5 each. I figured worst case I'd break even or something. But
Well,
yeah,
Wiz
just
of
looking.
Cards has a point to an extent to me.
Uh,
I a lot of collectors like with me,
true.
like so to take me for example. Maybe I'm just different and I'm in a minority, but I went down the Joe vintage rabbit hole I talked about.
Yeah.
I don't it takes me back to my childhood and man,
Yeah.
I played with them like crazy. So if it's missing a missile, if there's a loose joint, I'm cool. I just have this back in my life and it's neat to me. and maybe
Right.
eventually I'll have a way I can display these. And but that brings back some childhood. Like it's kind of funny, but like I've been trying to grab some stuff that I wasn't able to get when I was a kid. I couldn't procure these toys, so I've
I hear
gotten
that
them,
all the
and
time.
it's just the the nostalgia and the nice things. So the grading or the condition is not as big as actually finally having that. And as a that's the kind of collector I've always been.
And I understand that for more of cars, sports cars and comics. I get, well, maybe not even comics as much. Sports cars, I definitely understand the grading aspect. But for toys, that's a little tougher. Like you're right. I think there's nostalgia collectors like yourself, and then there's like I know guys that are super serious about it. They probably wouldn't get them graded, but they want it to be a perfect figure, no elbow cracks, no discoloration. They want it to be pristine, and that becomes like a thing where you just kind of upgrade your collecting, I guess, over time, and you started off doing what you're doing, getting things from your childhood, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the next level. And I don't know, that's a whole other psychology of collecting that they could talk better on. But yeah, I mean, with Funko Pops, I think it's more. I would think it's more fun to. I see how they're displayed back there, and it's awesome that they're in the boxes because they're perfectly neat and all that. But I think they're kind of also need to come out maybe and be displayed. But that's like blasphemy, I think, for Funko people because
Well,
like we
that's
can't
what
see
they're
the whole
originally for.
design, right? There's a woman in my office, like my old job, and her and I didn't know what Funkos were at the time. Her whole freaking like desk was covered in them, and I was like, I didn't get them, but I understood like, oh, I know that character, and I could see them, and I felt like that was a nice way to display them. And she was just a collector; she was interested in it, but not a collector. Like I have to keep them in the boxes perfect, or they'll lose value. But that's part of it. So um, I'm missing a lot of questions here. I want to catch up on. Then we're gonna wrap it up in a little bit here. I'm gonna do one more giveaway, guys. Let's see, guys. Make sure you're following Remix Collectibles, guys. Let them know when your next stream is. While I'm trying to find the questions, if you want.
So we do a lot of random pop-ups. Right now, our next stream is Thursday. We do what we call TRL, Thursday Request Live. Um,
Oh,
and
nice.
somebody asked about, is it better to just run stuff or do request?
Oh yeah, that was a good question.
We're we're very comfortable with just the requests, because I think when you start running stuff, that's when you'll get disgruntled because you'll sell a pop for $3 or $4. Well, $15 pop. So just take the requests until you build up. Let's say you start getting rooms of 100 people, then you start running those cheaper auctions. But
Yeah,
I think if you're drawing under 40, 50 people, I would stick to the request part. I would stick to trying to keep it close to what it's worth. And if you don't sell it, you'll sell it the next stream or the stream after.
exactly. It also, I think it depends on what you're selling too. I'd love to hear what the person who asked it, what are they selling? Because I think that is a big part of it to be able to answer the question even more precisely. Um, because you could have 10 people in the stream. If you have two people bidding each other, then maybe you could do a lower start and just run anything. But taking requests is going to be important too, because you want to sell what they're looking for, not just put a bunch of stuff up that nobody cares about. Maybe there's one person of collectible toys mainly. So it depends on the category. But I think what Joey said before also, and I've said this, is that if you're gonna don't start at a price that you're not gonna be upset about if it goes for that price. Don't start at $1. You're not Blazing Dairy or one of these guys that's automatically gonna put it up and it's gonna fly up. A dollar doesn't mean anything for people that say dollar starts. Unless you have a small stream, that doesn't mean that much because if there's 150 people in there, the dollar start is arbitrary. It could be a zero start. It doesn't matter, right? Because it's gonna get bid on. I mean, it's cool, but like I don't think it's gonna help you at the end. Now, if I did a dollar start and I had 10 people in the room, there could be a big advantage for somebody if they're the only Pokemon person in the room. They're like, yeah, let's go. Dollar starts on Pokemon, and I'm the only one in the room. Let's go. Depends on what you're into. Let's see. Yeah, what the Toyman's saying here. Certainly many different successful selling styles. Yeah, I think it depends on your style too. Okay, Blasian has a rule. I have a rule. If I touch it, I have to run it. I don't start items at $1. Some people are watching on mute. I love that. I don't touch it. So it's like an OCD way of selling. Um, is my guess. But I did read what she said about the snacks. Very interesting about the snacks. I gotta look into that. Reselling says requests are good. A lot of people don't want to stay run. They want to people. That's true. I get frustrated when sellers complain about what things sell for. Yeah, that's a big no-no, JP. $1 is basically a free givey after two at their fees. Yeah, $1 if you're willing to risk it. Like, what's up, Toasty? Like, there was a seller in here, Art of War, that had a strategy for selling at $1 because Art of War wanted to get paid as a new seller. They wanted to reach the 1,000 mark of sales so they could get paid faster. I thought that was a really intelligent. It's a good strategy, right? That's a good investment,
Well,
and they're
I think
building up
that's kind
sales.
of the what we're shooting for with our partnership with Father Son cards,
Yeah,
is we're trying to get them. We're doing the $2 Tuesdays to bring in people to try and push them to the 1,000 mark as well.
Oh, okay.
And that draws people in. And that's a good way to do it. That's going to draw some
Yeah.
people in. But if you can afford to take those L's, that's one of the things
Yes.
too. And we see a lot of people come and go because they try it, but they couldn't afford to take those L's, so they're off the app already.
Yeah, exactly. Here's some more good feedback we're getting here. It says, Zen says, I see streams sometimes, like 3 or 4 people, and they're doing requests. Yeah, I could see, Zen, you're right. Like, if it's just like a random thing, I'm going to pop up, and what do you guys want? Yeah, that can be kind of annoying or boring. But I've seen people, there are people that look for those kind of shows because they'll get that personalized service, like walking into a store. Hey, do you have any garbage pail kids today? No, and they leave, it's something like that. So, it's better obviously to already have things photographed and ready and in your store always. I mean, that's how Remix got on the app in the first place. You photographed items, you sold high-end items, people bought them, and now the technology they have now is where you can take the items from your store, your shop, and you can put them into your auctions, which is incredible. So the more stuff you get in your shop, the easier it is to get discovered by the app and search and all that, and the more and the easier it is to load up your streams with the relevant items that you're going to sell in those streams by using your shop. Let's see. Smaller theme shows make it easier to run. Auction says widget. Yep. Larger inventory may be harder. First run items. Cracks me up when seller keeps shouting. A dollar start when it's bid up to $20. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Okay, Adam start items, a dollar start items, the lowest price that I'm willing to take for it. Exactly. Blasian, that's the best advice. I think you just sum it up right there. A price where it's fair for the buyer, and if it's not, then next time. Because I've started stuff. I got an example that just happened actually. I, for whatever reason, 3 seconds to the giveaway. I sold a Snake Eyes file card just today on another platform, and I'll tell about that in a second. Here we go. Wiz of Cards. Congrats. So Wiz of Cards, you're a G.I. Joe collector, so I'll send you a G.I. Joe goodie bag, I'm assuming. Or I can send you some cards. But I put it up there just to get things started. I put it up for $5, but nobody was. I'm trying to remember what my point was saying this. Oh, I put it at $5, and nobody bought it. Like it's just random, right? And then I sold it for 15 the next day. So it could be a timing thing, is what I was trying to say. That happens with everything. It's such if you have two bidders in there that know what it is and they're going to fight over it. So, I would have been fine with getting the 5 for it, but don't think you have to sell it. You can just save it for next time, and for the right show. Sometimes it helps the buyers with shipping. True. All right, let's see if there's anything else before we have to wrap this up. Didn't start for $1 for the first 1,000. Such good comments here. I'm trying to keep up. Let's see, because I didn't want to condition my audiences to run $1. Yeah, Blasian, great feedback here. Let's see. Either run a show or running digital online store. Man, there's so much good content here to answer, Joey. I can't even keep up. Let's see. Being prepared
Yeah,
and organized
that keeps
helps.
going and going.
I love it. And most people don't read all the notes. I think it's important to keep up with chat as much as you can, because it's annoying as a buyer, and you're a buyer. It sucks when you write something and there's crickets, right? It's a request or whatever it is, or a question. So I try to answer every single question and go through every comment. But I guess we got a little behind here because we're having a nice conversation. But such a diverse app and groups of sellers and buyers. And it works for you may not work. Yeah, the Toy Man always dropping good knowledge too, guys. Listen to the Toy Man. Yeah, what might be right for you may not be right for some. Wait, that's a song. What might be? Oh no, that's what is that? The world. That's Different Strokes. I just did a
Oh
Different
my
Strokes one.
gosh!
I should end on that. The world don't move to the beat
Didn't
of
think
just
I'd hear a
one
different
drum.
Strokes reference
Yeah,
today.
what might be right for Joey may not be right for Springer. All right, there you go. There's my little performance. I'm getting more comfortable apparently on screen. We had a vintage Bigfoot toy that didn't sell for months and it finally sold for more than we thought it would. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum, the Toy Man. So yeah, come for the toys and stay for the references. Always the references. We used to do this thing where Joey, I don't know if you were around then, where I would watch movies that I didn't see when I was a kid that I missed that I should have watched, and I do my 40 years later reviews. It's kind of fun for a little bit. The biggest one that got the biggest feedback was my rewatch of Top Gun, and how I never
Oh
watched Top
wow!
Gun as a kid, and it was a Joe stream, so the Joe guys are more apt to be Top Gun fans anyway.
Of course.
I mean, look at the flag and everything, and I was like, so then I think that actually brought a lot of fun to the app when I would talk about things like that. That helped my uh, followers per se, or people tune in when I would
Pop
talk about things
culture
like that.
references. So people
Oh
like to rag on Widget for the movies she hasn't seen.
yeah,
So like,
exactly. Okay.
Pulp Fiction, she hasn't seen Pulp Fiction. She's one of like 8 people maybe that hasn't.
Wow. That is
So
okay. That's out there.
that's a running joke in our streams.
Now she can't see
So
it. I guess.
And I think she
Or
just doesn't want to see it now just to be that person because they make fun of her about it.
yeah, or it'd be cool to have her watch it, like almost live stream her watching it. Like that you watch those people on YouTube. I don't get it, but they crush like listening to the Grateful Dead for the first time. Some guy or listening to those listening like and then see what their reactions are. People like those videos, but having her
She
watch
would be a she
us
would
Pulp Fiction,
definitely be
that'd be good.
appalled by a few scenes in Pulp Fiction, so that would be amusing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it depends on if she doesn't tolerate that kind of that kind of stuff, and it's not good. She doesn't like those kind of movies. Then that'd be pretty scary to watch a movie like that, especially with Zed and all that. You've never seen Pulp Fiction either? Holy cow! I've never seen. Here's my movies I've never seen. Maybe you have to. So Top Gun was the one that I mentioned, and I only seen parts of it. I just wasn't. I don't know why I wasn't interested for some reason at that age. Even though I watch all the '80s movies, and the newer one it would be. I've never seen Harry Potter. I've never seen Wizard of Oz, or not Wizard of Oz, the Wizard one, Lord of the Rings, and I think people freak out when I tell them that. So maybe that's my Pulp Fiction is not seeing Lord of the Rings.
Well,
But I
Widget
feel like that'd be fun.
constantly confuses Game of Thrones pops with Lord of the Rings pops, so that's
I can
another
see that.
running joke in our streams.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's a good running joke, and I see why she would do that. It's very similar kind of look, right? I mean, I
But
don't know if
like the
there's any kind of.
diehard fans are like, "How could you do that?
How could
It's
you
so
not know
different."
Cersei? Yeah. How could you not know? I'm trying to think of the names. How do you not know? Damn, it's been so long since I've seen Game of Thrones. Hold on, binge watch all Lord of the Rings. Maybe I should do that. I like Sean
That would
Astin.
take a couple days.
I guess so. Yeah, I prefer Sean Astin in Toy Soldiers. So that's more my speed. Or Goonies, of course. But what's the guy's name? Jon Snow. How do you not know Jon Snow versus Frodo? What's wrong with you? Probably stuff like that comes up. That's great though. I love that widget. So yeah, you guys are killing it, man. Having the tag team like that, that's awesome. Sometimes I love being on my own doing it, but sometimes I wish I had someone to bounce stuff off of because I think it could be more fun in some ways to have someone during the streams. So that's
Oh,
a
I'm sure
huge
there's
plus.
days where she would probably be like flying solo as well. So
Mm, that's cool. It's cool that she likes to do it too, and that's not her thing as much as it's been yours. I think that's great. Lord of the Rings is way better, in my opinion. What about Harry Potter? Should I watch Harry Potter first or Lord of the Rings? I saw an ad with Got.
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Yeah.
That's right. I had to ask you what it was. Game of Thrones is really, really good until the last episode, I guess we could say. Something like that. It was good. Definitely. All right. Well, I've gone way over my time with, for the whole thing, but I've enjoyed this, Joey. Thank you.
Hey, I
I'm
enjoyed
going
it
to,
too. It's a great
yeah,
time.
excellent. We should do it again sometime. I'll keep shouting you out, and there's definitely more to talk about. When I get the pops, I'll hit you up. Maybe that'd be fun. We could do a stream where I look at the pops and have no clue about them. And
And
then
we
you
could
can tell
talk
me that
about them.
they all suck
Hey,
or something.
also, guys, if you ever want to reach out to us at all, if we can help you guys
Yeah,
out in
Zen.
any way, you could do it here. We do a lot of interaction on Instagram with people.
Oh, there
It's
you
the
go.
same name.
Yeah, guys, check them out. Check them out on Insta. Me too. Same name. Thank you. Let's get Zen's last question, and we'll wrap it up with that. Is Joey? You definitely could be hosting these things for sure.
I appreciate you. Like I said, I love them. I think this is great for the app. It's great
Thanks,
for
Wiz.
community.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Zen. What do we got? Otherwise, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Zen with the T's here.
Zen Moroku. Zen Moroku. There's the T's. One more question. Dot 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 dot. It's like we're waiting for the text message to come through. All right. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up with my little saying. Oh, here we go. If you have a lot of inventory, say toys, how do you manage pricing for them? Well, that's a deep one. I mean, what are you in for them? Did you know what do you have? How much you're in for them? Do you know what they're worth?
Well,
Um,
I think one of the most underused tools
when,
for
oh,
pricing
go ahead.
that people it's well known in the card community, but with the toys is 130 points.
Yeah,
I don't think enough people use that. We use that with pops. That's how we price our pops. PPG right now isn't good. HobbyDB isn't good. The app it's off. So we like to see what the last 5 or 6 comps are, and then we try to price stuff reasonable. But yeah, with 130 point, it's not just for cards. You can price anything off of
yeah.
eBay that way.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was just for cards, so it's for any eBay item. That's interesting. So for pops, I
Yeah,
mean that's great because he's saying what Joey's saying is the buy it now. Sometimes the best offer accepted is you can't
right.
see that on eBay. I think that's one of the advantages, and I think they bring in more than just eBay sales, or is it only eBay sales? And they show like the
It's
last few
it's
average
only
sales
eBay sales. Now,
on eBay.
I would love an app that would, you could do Mercari, you could do whatnot, all the
Oh
other
yeah, that's great.
platforms. I'm not tech savvy to come up with that. As a person that sells, though, I would love to see somebody come up with that.
Yeah, where
But
all the
that's just
sales
eBay.
track. Yeah, but
But
I would say
eBay's
again, it
the
really
standard still. They're the they're
yeah.
the they're the granddaddy of
Definitely.
all this. So
You use like sticky notes on them or how you remember prices. Hmm. I mean, I guess you do. It's tough to say. You have to know your inventory, but you kind of have to know your inventory, right?
just
I mean,
just have like an iPad or have a second apparatus that you can just look it up really quick. That's what
yeah.
we do.
If it doesn't have a barcode, you can do a screen grab and then image search in eBay or image search on Chrome or Google Chrome or whatever. That's another way you can do it. But Google Lens, same thing exactly. And do a little more research on each one. Go through each shelf and try to understand the values of each item and what they're selling for. And if it's toys, it's all going to be dependent upon condition and completeness. So, or if it's pops, it's going to definitely depend on the box condition and rarity and things like that. So, it's a good question. It's a hard one to answer without knowing all the stuff that you have. Post-it notes are, I mean, it's not a bad idea. Or keeping an Excel sheet if you do a Google sheet. If you want to take the time to do that, it could be worth it. And you can take that Google sheet later and turn it into your. I don't know if you know this, Joe. You can turn it into all of the items in your store. You can import a CSV into the store,
And it's a great way to
or,
track
or
inventory
whatnot.
at the end of the year, or you track sale trends. Which and I both
Yeah.
come from a retail background. That's actually how we met, was in the mall.
Oh, no
Um,
way. Cool.
so we're familiar with that, too, as well, to try and look at that and analyze that a little bit as well. So
That's a big advantage. And I like what Blasian said too. Like, just start adding the inventory in your marketplace, and then you'll have it. So when people request it, it'll already be there, and you'll already have your baseline price. You've already done the research instead of it all sitting out there on the shelves. Like, maybe do something with it. So while you're looking it up, you could make listings on whatnot, and then use those in your shows. And then reselling gave great. All you guys great advice on this for tracking what you paid for items too. Wiz is right. I like Google Sheets. It's free. If most of you have Gmail accounts already, so use the tools that Google gives you for free. I would say it's Gmail, Google Photos, all that stuff. So thanks, Zen. That was an awesome question. Thanks again, Joey. Remix guys, check out Remix Collectibles, Joey and Widget. And I think I'm gonna wrap it up, guys, so I can go live and have some fun
appreciate you
later.
having me on. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate this. This was fun. All right, guys. Thanks for the bids, buys, and BS. No bids, no buys, just for the BS. And thank you, Joey. All right,
Have a
everybody.
good one,
See you in the next
guys.
one. Later. Oh, we're going to raid somebody. See you.
Oh, raid.
And if you guys have someone you want to raid, let me know before I close this out. I'm looking at the chat. And otherwise, I'm just going to pick someone random. Thanks again, guys. And see you. Who are we going to do? Somebody that doesn't have a lot of viewers right now. All right, guys. Thanks. See you.